All right, guys, welcome back to Cold Brews and Hot Takes. This is episode 4. We're kind of getting a little bit further into the practice. Hopefully, you guys are following along, or if you're new to us, thanks for joining. See if you can like and subscribe if you can. Give me some feedback at the end, and just give me a comment. Reach out. Hopefully, we can connect. Again, I'm located out of Louisville, Kentucky. So I'm a bourbon boy. If you know the state, it's definitely it's north of the Mason-Dixon line. If you know where that is, so we're almost in the Midwest, but we definitely have some Southern ties here. And what I'd like to feature this time is actually not even a bourbon necessarily. It's a bourbon style whiskey, and by whiskey, it's supposed to have an E, right? Bourbon whiskey is with an E. This is Suntory's Toki. It's a Japanese whiskey of the Suntory Beam family. It's super smooth. I prefer it neat or on rocks. It's a great mixer, but this is one that I would love to just front porch sip, especially on a warm, getting warmer spring to summer day. It is absolutely fantastic. So in the whiskey without the E, the WHISKY, right? So that's typically what you'd see in a Scotch whiskey, or a whiskey that doesn't originate from basically the Kentucky area. The Kentucky boys know that if it's not Kentucky limestone well water, chances are it's not really bourbon whiskey. It might be a bourbon style, which this exactly is. It's a bourbon style whiskey, but it's not real bourbon whiskey. But this is a good mix. If you can find it, please try it. It's the Toki. They do have other blends. I'm a big fan. It's kind of a big brand if you know Jim Beam, the Beam Suntory family. So hopefully it's not too hard to find, but for an international flavor, it's definitely one you should. Okay, so in today's episode, I'd like to go over a little bit, kind of following and coattailing on what I brought up in episode 3. I touched a little bit on love languages and emotional intelligence and effort, right? Those are the 3 big things that I think is really, really important when approaching a relationship, a long-term pursuit, and eventually, fingers crossed, right? You're going for marriage. I think that I probably need to delve in a little bit further into emotional intelligence and just personal awareness. I think that is really important. So when I think of emotional intelligence, I think of being able to take a step back in any moment where you might be reacting to something that's happening around you and saying, okay, in my actions, am I just knee-jerk reacting to what's going on around me, or am I choosing my own actions to create a result that I would prefer, that I choose? Right? So it's the idea that no matter what happens around you, you always have the choice to react the way that you want to, right? That is the big turning point in my eyes that lifts you to that emotional intelligence level of, oh, I'm in complete control of my life. I'm in complete control of my emotions, and it's all my choice. Once you have that power of choice, life is so much easier, so much better. And I think it's a relief for a lot of folks that feel anxiety and weight from everything around you, and for those that just don't feel like they have a grasp around what's around them, it is liberating. It puts you in the driver's seat. It makes you feel like you are in control, and for a lot of folks that are wanting control, it is fantastic. Okay, so in doing that, there has to be a bit of self-awareness, right? Am I simply reacting to whatever's going on around me, or am I being able to react the way that I choose, something that's more consistent with my values, my choices, what I want, and can I follow through in that and be consistent, so that I'm able to live the life that I want based on the choices that I make. And I think that a lot of folks will feel empowered by making those kinds of choices. I think they'll sleep better at night. I think it's a lot of mental clarity possibility. I think that being able to finally get a hold of your own life when it feels like you're kind of in the passenger seat and some crazy maniac is in the driver's seat. No, you are on, you are on the wheel. You're making the calls. You do you, right? That I'm a huge fan of. I think that's super underrated. Having said that, right, I think that there needs to be some personal awareness more than just, okay, in your actions, but also where am I? When I say where am I mean on an intellectual level. I mean on a maturity level, on a physical fitness level, on a what can I provide level, like knowing your strengths. If you know your strengths, then you can position yourself in all kinds of leverage situations to keep pursuing that thing that you want in your own life, right? You're still in the driver's seat of your own life. You're making your choices. Well, you now know what benefits you, what you can leverage to make your life even better, right? If you are an intellectual, right, then you I'm sure have studied for a long time in college and other postgraduate levels. You might be a doctorate, you might be a master's degree level, you might have certification showing that you have some kind of expertise, and offering that knowledge, offering that trained skill. Doctors, obviously, Juris Doctors, if you're a lawyer, having that awareness, that intelligence level, that knowledge, you can leverage that along with your experience. Experience is also underrated. Being able to leverage both, you can really quickly advance your career for those folks. You can help those around you if you see that there's a need and you know that you can bring that to the table. You can jump in with confidence and be a huge asset to your friend group, family, community, whatever you choose. I think that is going to make the world a better place as we start to step up to the plate individually, do some soul searching and saying, okay, what can I bring to the people around me, whether that's blood relatives or not? Hey, what can I provide? What can I give back, right? I think we're all kind of used to the consumer mentality, right? Whether that's through social media, television, Amazon habits, shopping, and just, okay, I want, so I'm going to take. Well, I think that the human mind, spirit, whatever you want to call it, is probably given more reward sensation in giving back. I know, like, immediately for those that don't do it regularly, it probably is like counterintuitive. It's like, well, I'm giving away. What do you mean there's going to be a reward? I think that serving other folks in itself provides a reward, especially for those that can't literally pay you back. If it's in a pursuit of career status, right, then obviously you're probably leveraging your degree, your knowledge, your experience, your certification, your expertise, right? You are trying to leverage that to give yourself a bump up in responsibility in your department, in dollars if it comes to positioning yourself for a better raise or better position altogether. Being able to be more in control and getting what you want. Again, it's pursuing what you want. But in a more social impact kind of spectrum, then I think that first off, recognizing in yourself that you are able to give back, huge confidence boost, right? That's a really good hit of positivity in your own life. And then actually following through and seeing gratitude. I mean, I think gratitude in itself is a huge reward. Folks may or may not be as gratuitous as you want. They may not give thanks the way that you want or as much as you want. But I think that just doing it and making someone's life better is reward enough sometimes, right? I think that is a big, big deal. I think folks need to get in a bigger habit of doing it, whether that is doing some pro bono work if you're a lawyer, whether that's doing some volunteer work in underprivileged communities, especially if you're in the medical or engineering fields. Underdeveloped countries can really use some help, especially now because a lot of developed countries' budgets have been cut because of COVID relief, trying to help their own people. I think that would be a huge, huge, huge impact for those that don't have the intellectual folks, the brainiacs of us. If you just have an able body, I think that a lot of folks just want to connect in this very isolated world that we live in. So just reaching out with an able body, lend a helping hand, just be a sounding board for folks that just want to vent. You can totally help and have this huge impact for anyone around you. You don't have to go to another country to do it. You can do it to a neighbor. You can help someone down the street, in your church community, in your neighborhood, in your family. I mean, it doesn't have to be this huge outreach effort. It could be as easy as you want it to be. But I think just getting in the habit, just starting is going to be a huge reward initially for you. I think that's really underestimated what kind of reward feeling that gives an individual. And obviously, any kind of added help that those folks are getting is absolutely appreciated. Whether that's communicated or not, I know a lot of folks are not the best communicators, myself included at times. I think that just getting out there, just trying, and being a part of the community, being a part of the family, being around your friend groups again, helping those that may not be as privileged as you, might not be as able-bodied as you are. That is going to be a huge, huge, huge help to anyone and everyone. And I think if we can start doing it and encourage others around us to do it, hence this video, right? I think that is going to absolutely save us. I think that's going to be a little bit of a help when it comes to making cultural change, right? I think that's going to be a small wave that starts an absolute monsoon, a tidal wave, right? That just sweeps across our nation of a divided nation right now, unfortunately, whether that's socioeconomically, politically, what have you. Having said that, I think that knowing what you can provide is huge. Speaking of which, going back a couple episodes, knowing what you bring to the table in a romantic relationship, right? We're kind of giving what we can outside of that, out of the goodness of our hearts. I think that in a romantic relationship, knowing what you bring to the table is big because you can express that as a love language, right? You are that would be an act of service, or if you're paying for something, then it could be considered a gift, right? Or if it's if you are a doctor in the psychiatry field, then words of affirmation would be huge, right? Just being a sounding board and offering your expertise as help in a conversation, I think that would be a really nice gift you can give to someone. I also think that you should focus on knowing what you can provide a romantic partner. Again, going back to last week's episode of giving all 5 of the love languages and trying to assure them that they are loved, that they are important to you, that they are a priority. I think that's probably going to be a really popular thing going forward, just knowing what you can bring to the table and what can be a benefit of the other person. Noticing first what they are lacking would be huge too, right? So that's going back to some personal awareness, knowing what you can bring and also what that person lacks, and without pointing fingers, right? You're not trying to say, hey, you need to do this. It's, hey, let me help you with this. I think that is a much better approach. I think that if it's some accountability issues, then yes, you probably need to coach them through whatever needs to be corrected, adjusted, whatever. But if it's just something that you can help with, and it's not a big deal for you, and you know that person would appreciate it, and it's needed in that other person's life, then what's stopping you from doing it? I think that's going to be a real positive for folks still looking for some relationship advice. And in knowing what the other person needs, I think that you drawing out some of their weaknesses to their attention through coaching, through communicating in a gentle way, I think that can really develop some growth together, helping each other reach a common goal. And I think you'll probably have a deeper relationship by not, again, pointing the finger, right? Because no one's right or wrong. It's just, hey, we can work through this together. Will you work with me on XYZ issues that we see in our relationship, that I see in your own personal life, etc. Right? I think that my own awareness, it could always be better. I think that being more of an empath, so understanding what's going on around me, being able to read a room, I think that kind of helps me understand where people are in a personal growth path. So I'm trying to be more of a coach when it comes to developing emotional intelligence, developing a skill set that you could then offer a community, a romantic partner, whatever. I'm looking for, hopefully, in an own partner of my own pursuits, someone who also understands what they bring to the table, that they do bring it to the table, right? It's not just an empty offer and saying, hey, I'm holding out until an action occurs or a certain amount of time occurs, or I decide that I'm going to step up to the plate. Just doing it, I think, is going to be like, oh, this person really does care. They're really taking it seriously. That's what I'm looking for. But what I haven't gotten in the past is, I know exactly what I bring to the table. I can show you what I bring to the table. It's been more of the consumerism, just taking. Granted, I see myself as a giver. It's not that I'm hesitating in giving myself. I'm just looking for someone who can mirror my efforts, who can mirror my energy in going towards a common goal of long-term relationship that, again, fingers crossed, ends in marriage. If that person only takes, right, then that shows a little bit of personal immaturity, right? If they're still in the childhood phase of gimme all the time, that does not yield a whole lot of positivity in developing a long-term relationship. It really just kind of grinds my gears, to be perfectly honest. I don't really see myself as a great sugar daddy, right? I have a stable income. I'm an accountant. I'm a CPA, right? So I think that I can provide for anyone who absolutely needs it, right? But I don't think that being a quote unquote sugar daddy is really a great role anyways. I think that's probably not a healthy relationship in most cases. I think that a partnership in shared responsibilities, shared energies, shared effort, open and honest conversations about what's going on in the relationship, that's really where success comes from. And really just being on the same level, and especially moral values, having the same foundation, that really needs to happen. I think that if you have those, that would be a good foundation to build any kind of relationship on. Having an understanding of, okay, where do we see this going? Yes, I think that having the same pursuit of a long-term relationship is good. That's probably step one for those that are on dating apps. Get that out of the way real early, right? Once you're past that and you both agree that that's what you want, then move towards, okay, value systems. Do we understand what each person brings to the table? Do we express and receive love languages in a compatible way? Can we work together towards achieving common goals, whether that's future planning or physical fitness or going on, traveling trips and wanting to explore the world. There's really no bound to it. It's just coming up with, okay, we both can be at a starting point. Doesn't necessarily have to be the exact same starting point, but agreeing that you're going in a certain direction together and spurring each other on, not just coddling, but actually spurring each other on, keeping each other accountable. I think accountability it needs to be utilized. It's super underutilized right now. I think that if you're doing that with a gentle heart, with some kind words, and going above and beyond, leading by example, I think is the way to go. It shows that, hey, this is what I'm doing to help this relationship plug along, right? It also says, hey, I'm not asking you to do more than what I am willing to do for this relationship. All I'm asking you to do is to at least mirror my energy, my efforts, that kind of thing. I think that if you can nail all of those, if you can nail personal accountability, personal awareness, right? Just knowing what you bring to the table, emotional intelligence, knowing how things around you affect you, and then choosing for them not to, right? Reacting in a way that you choose. And then just knowing what your thing is, knowing what your expertise is, knowing what makes you you, and then leveraging it, and then bringing it to the table and every chance, whether they can repay it or not. I think that is going to lead to some very happy folks, some folks that feel fulfilled because what they're doing is kind of who they are, right? They are really expressing themselves in acts of service. They are expressing themselves in a communication that is words of affection. They are expressing themselves in gift giving in whatever way you assume. What they're doing is presenting themselves as not only a gift to that person if you're doing volunteer work, but also saying, hey, if I'm bringing all of me to the table, I'm hoping that if we are going to be going through a challenging road of long-term relationship, I want all of you to also be going directly towards this common goal. I really think that should be the top of everyone's list. Hopefully that kind of answers a lot of questions that maybe I might have missed in the previous episode. I think that that's going to be a good way to go forward and live your life, especially the emotional intelligence bit, just understanding how to absorb and act, not even react, just act on what would be the best expression, the best pendulum swing back of whatever just happened. I think that's going to be a huge lift off of everyone's shoulders. Everyone's going to live a happier, more joyous life, which is exactly what we're all pursuing. And I think that for those that are worried about finances, it's going to be more rewarding monetarily at the end of the day too. I think that's kind of how you lift yourself up in the world of finance and accounting. It lifts yourself up to managerial levels. It lifts yourself up to personal challenge physically, and saying, okay, how can I get to next level? What am I doing right now that I like? What am I doing wrong or not enough of, or not the right amount of, to get myself to the next level, right? That is going to be my advice tonight. Thank you again for everyone watching. I know this is probably one of the quicker episodes. Hopefully you got something out of it. For those micro-brews and micro-distilleries around the Louisville, Kentucky area or tri-state area, please reach out to me if you can. Leave a comment. I'd love to try your stuff. Love to try your brews. Love to visit you if you're local enough. I would love to try any and everything that you have. Whatever you do have, I'm sure that I will partake and then review on one of these next videos. I will promote it as best I can. If you have anything else that you think would be a good feedback for the channel, again, please comment, review, whatever you can. Thanks again so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, blow me up if you can. I'm looking for any and all feedback. I want to make sure that you guys are getting your money's worth. Thanks again. Take care.